Now, in theory, we study a few textbook methods that the government can use to actually rein in the monopoly or address the problem of monopoly power. One of the textbook measures that is hardly used will be your MC pricing and your AC pricing. Now, what is MC pricing? MC pricing is forcing the monopoly to adopt a pricing that is equivalent to marginal cost. But when you force the monopoly to set a price equivalent to marginal cost, while it allows for allocative efficiency, because remember, the allocative efficient condition is where you get P is equals to MC. But when you do that, the monopoly will end up likely making a subnormal profit and eventually has to shut down. So unless the government takes over the monopoly, then the monopoly will actually cease to exist because most firms cannot exist without making some form of profits. So that is for MC pricing. Alternatively, there is a less extreme version where we call it the AC pricing. So the government can force the monopoly to set a pricing equivalent to AC. So when you set the price equivalent to AC, you are allowing the monopoly to make normal profits. So by making normal profits, the monopoly can continue to stay within operation. But there are a few downsides to this. Number one, as long as you're not producing at where P is equals to MC, you are still being allocatively inefficient. Number two, you lose the advantages of being a monopoly, that is that you have originally retained supernormal profits that you can invest in innovation. So all of that innovation now becomes not possible. So AC pricing has those downsides as well. Next, you have various antitrust regulations. Usually you have an antitrust regulator set up. Like for example, in Singapore, we have the Consumer and Competition Commission of Singapore, which ensures that the existing firms do not have too much market power, and any form of mergers between two firms attempting to perhaps forming a monopoly will be regulated by this regulatory authority to prevent firms from getting too large. And the regulatory authority will also usually watch out for anti-competitive behavior, such as setting prices to be excessively high. Third, the government can also, if it feels that it is appropriate, to nationalize the monopoly. So by nationalizing the monopoly, the government can then choose to produce at where it is social welfare maximizing instead of profit maximizing. So nationalization can be one possibility. However, nationalization usually means that you lose the incentive to actually be productive, because profit maximization firms will want to keep their costs low, and in keeping their costs low, they try to be productively efficient. And profit maximization firms will also try to increase their revenue by being innovative and attracting consumers to buy from them. So state firms have this downside of perhaps not having the advantages of trying to be productively efficient or trying to come up with newer and better ways to produce something. And lastly, lump sum tax, which is to tax an amount equivalent to all the excess supernormal profits that a monopoly may be making, but that is largely and usually a theoretical method that is not really practiced in reality.